Sound to summon the storm. Greetings, dear viewers. I'm Quill Quickcard, and welcome back to the Community RPG Maker Project, where I'm doing a little bit of work on the bestiary. I haven't done a ton of work on the bestiary, but I did come up with a method which is going to let me go through most of it very quickly. Suleiman, it really doesn't matter where Aubrey's been. No one has an obligation to be here. Uh, so let me just finish making the notes for the gorilla, and then we'll get into the stuff proper. Alright, so it's gorilla with a lot of guns. Do 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 do. Nope, not there. There we go. Wants to go here. That's Bestiary 404. This should be 403. You always gotta keep a close eye on where this is. Gorilla with a lot of guns. Make sure that the names match okay. And the adopted son of a citizen of Spire Town who unfortunately met with a tragic end, which definitely was not the fault of Ryu and Thatcher in any way that can be definitively proven in a court of law. Probably. There we go. Alright. So that takes care of that. Just gotta make sure I save this file here. And I'll just make a note of that as bestiary notes. Bring my main notes over here. And we are good. Why are you always streaming when I'm doing something? Most people are doing something at some point all the time, so it's not too surprising. Okay, so this is going to be a shorter stream today. It's only going to be maybe an hour and a half or so. And today we are going to be specifically focusing on building up the first sections of the Necropolis facility. So probably the Temple of Death and Darkness, start work on Graveyard Gardens. Today's mostly going to be map work. So for comments today, as always, you're free to discuss any possible ideas, but the main things I'm really going to be looking for as far as ideas go is going to be map related. So this is going to be the Gravestone Passage. And this is just going to be a very basic kind of map. But we are going to want a nice battle back here. There is some good... Here we go. Yeah, that should be fine. We need a good spooky music for the Necropolis. That does not count. Okay. I'm looking for a specific type of vibe. Alright, this might work. Let's make it a little more discordant. Okay, I think that works. Volume it up a little bit. Alright, so this is going to be the basic music for most areas of the necropolis. Alright, and what do we got here? I was making a Minecraft texture pack. Quill, lore idea, there's more zombies and skeletons because skeletons bleed endlessly. There's definitely more skeletons than zombies, simply because zombies are more practical for use as laborers. Won't they get reactivated when the necromancy spell is used? I'll be back after finishing my texture pack. Alright, first things first. There we go. And a bit of spooky wall. Okay. So the main thing I need here are stairs. And then we'll have a little bit of a landing. There we go. And then some bigger stairs going down. And that's going to be it for the first area, for the gravestone passage. So let's work on the next one. And this is where it's going to get a lot more involved. So we're running scene for 15%, pitch down 20, right? We've got a lot of maps to make today. Okay. This is going to be Temple of Darkness. There we go. So that is right. It's scene 4, 1580. And scene 4, 1580. Good. Alright, so Temple of Darkness. This is where we're actually getting into a lot more serious types of map creation. So how do I want to do this? Is there even enough stuff to work with in the dungeon tile set? Because I don't want this to have, like, an organic look to it. I do want it to be a true interior. This one works for natural cave walls in the area. Blood weasels. Weasel made of nothing but blood. Interesting idea. Okay. I think this one works for masonry. This could also work for masonry, just like this nice dark stone. So let's start with a general shape. So we're going to have a central area for the altar. And then we'll have annexes off the side for seating. And that went from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just some nice basic symmetrical designs. Okay. So this is going to be the general shape of the temple. And then we'll have some annexes going off the sides. Just like that. Okay. So I think this will work as a general shape. So now we need our walls. Yeah. Okay. And some walls here and walls there. And then some walls there. So just so it's easier for my eyes to be looking at this. Okay. So now we branch out just like that. Okay. I think that is going to work. So now I need the places where it opens up into each of the different annexes. Just like that, just like that. Like that, like that. Okay. And that's 2 over. We are going to keep the important look of symmetry throughout the entire complex. Symmetry is important to the aesthetic, I think. Okay. Feel like tamed zombie dogs would be really cute. That could be done for sure. Alright. Yes. Okay, I think this works. This is the basic appearance of the Temple of Darkness. So we will have like a big ol' statue or something in the middle. What will work? How does a dragon statue look there? Maybe. But they wouldn't be worshipping a statue in the Temple of Darkness. I also think like some proper tiling around here would work better. Maybe? That is still like a dragon motif, though. I mean, I could definitely do like a dragon, like a dragon temple at a different area of the game, but that's not really what I want to go for here. So I think these dark tiles are probably the best I can do for this area. And a little bit more. Okay, and then a few, like, green ones spread around. I think arranged like that. Idea, a room filled with lots of dead rats, all different stages of decomposition. Storage room for necromancy school. I like the idea of kind of a repository. I do like that. Storage room at Academy with specimens at different stages of decomp and reservation. Okay. I still don't fully know what I am putting on this altar, though. That is the thing. Some big pillars. I think the pillars work. They're probably nice and passable, right? Yes, they are. Okay, good. There's not much I have that's going to fit. Oh. Unless... Not quite. I can have a different area that's going to have dragon remains. I don't think right now is the time for it. It's not that I'm looking for a spooky look. This is a Temple of Darkness. But we are thinking of darkness in a... Hello, Articus. We are thinking of darkness in a religious sense. And not in the sense of, like, malevolence or evil or a celebration of death. We are seeing it as... We are seeing it the way that a culture could look into, say, the Grand Canyon and revere it as something sacred, despite the fact that it is legitimately something that could be dangerous, because you fall in there, you're probably not getting back out. We're looking at a way of revering inevitability, revering impermanence, but without being, like, especially morbid about it. So it is a difficult type of vibe to get across, even if my asset choices were not so limited. So it is a challenge, certainly. Honestly, instead of trying to get, like, a statue, why don't I just put an altar? Yeah, why don't I just have, like, a standing altar? That would probably be best. So where do I have, like, something good to use for an altar? I don't think it's really going to be sacrifice. Here in this temple, this is really going to be more of a pulpit. This is going to be a dais where objects of reverence would be placed more than sacrifice. I mean, sacrifice isn't really the vibe I had planned, but it's also definitely something that I could potentially make. Just about every altar is used for sacrifice in some form. We just don't typically see, like, live sacrifice in modern religious rituals. Surprisingly difficult to find, like, a good altar. But not impossible. It also doesn't help that I'm working with a 2x2 space. An offering place with food and gold. An idea is forming in my head. An idea is forming. I am starting to see the shape of an idea. Okay, where was it? I saw the thing that I can use. Okay, I love this motif. Since we are going for something that is intended to be religious, we don't really need to be prone to extravagance. So we can just go with something more simple. A simple chair. A simple, partially ruined chair. It will not be entirely clear what that chair was there for. And you're not able to walk up onto the altar. And honestly, next to the chair, a couple strange bottles of liquid. Okay. So now I need an entrance into this area. So it needs to be in one of these. I think we'll put it on the right side. So what I want is a bookshelf that, like, moves out of the way, revealing the passage. So this area is going to be filled with bookshelves. Well, not this part. This part's special. But then behind the bookshelf, we are going to have a hole in the wall. And the hole in the wall is going to look like this. That's going to be the secret entrance. Okay, so this is going to be bookshelf southwest. And tile set right there. Okay. And then for the switch, what are we gonna call it? This is going to be Temple Bookshelf. Temple Bookshelf open. Okay. So when Temple Bookshelf is open, this disappears. Okay. And then this is going to be Temple Bookshelf northwest. And then Temple Bookshelf northeast. And finally, Temple Bookshelf southeast. Alright. Adjust the image on each one. Okay. And then what we need to do Temple Bookshelf northwest final. And now we need a few of those. So this is Temple Bookshelf Southwest Final. And you look like that. You are the wrong kind of shelf. I swear I have an idea. This is all going to come together, and this is all going to be great. You just need to trust me a little bit longer. I have actually made stuff like this before. So I do know what I'm doing, it's just a little involved. Okay. So, auto run. The first thing it's going to do is set the movement for down... Oh, nope, not the fins. We don't want to do the fins. Northwest, down, down, left, left. Is it only supposed to be one? No, we're moving from here. No, I was right. It is going to be down, down, left, left. Yes. Okay, but we're not going to wait for completion. And then boom, boom, boom. We make 3 copies of it. Southwest, northeast, and southeast. This one we are going to wait on. And we're going to play a sound effect while that happens. Probably an earth sound effect. Okay, good. So we play the sound effect and then... Oh, right. Okay. That should be fine. Because then we have transparent turn off for the player. We turn on the Temple Bookshelf open switch, and then we activate self switch in order to make sure that this event never tries to run again. So now we have to adjust the movement on all of these. So through, slower, and slower, and through, and through, and slower. Okay. I think that'll work. So now we need a transition to copy and paste. And we're really not going to need all of that. Oh my god. That is definitely the wrong thing to copy. Let's try it again. Actually, no, that's a door. I don't want to use a door. There we go. Just a simple transition. So you go into the Temple of Darkness facing down. But the first thing you do is turn the player transparent. parent. And then you are going to turn on your self switch. And then when your self switch is on, we don't do that part of the event. Why not put a food storage area in this area? It's like a break from the body horror. I still feel like everyone's kind of getting the idea that this is like disgusting, vile, mad scientist evil place. That's not what it is supposed to be. It is supposed to be a place that is venerating life. But it is venerating life in all of its forms. And that inevitably means not a celebration of bodily death, but an implicit understanding and acceptance of it. If that makes sense. I'm not trying to make this like some horrible horrible thing. One sec. Whoop. Sorry, just having to reply to a message here. Okay, do that. Okay. Sorry, that was a little important. Okay, so this is the upper part, which heads back out of Wallachia, down. That's fine. Oh, actually, this is important. This needs to be a transition point of its own. Okay. So this transition point goes here. It doesn't do that. It doesn't do that. But it does have to transfer the player into the gravestone passage. Okay. And then these need to have the self-switch stuff removed. Okay, I am 85% sure that this is all going to work first time. Let's test the gravestone passage. Okay, good. So if I go indoors and then leave, is the gravestone still open? Yes, it is. That's good. Elena's house doesn't have anything broken. That's good. Good. This is the correct version of Elena's house. Mr. Bones. Okay, Mr. Bones is good. Is the boat working? The boat looks like it's working. That's good. Okay. Does this way lead back into the passage? Yes, it does. That is fully functional, like I hoped it would be. And does the boat work from this side? Yes. Okay, the boat works from that side as well, so that is fully functional. Okay, I don't think I ever made this work anymore. Okay. No, I never actually put the transition event on this. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That's an easy fix. Here. Copy. Local dragon blue screens when looking at grave pit. That is basically what just happened. Alright, and now this goes down the gravestone passage. Everything might work now. Maybe. I have reason to hope. Alright, let this begin. We'll just walk through the walls real quick. Ugh. Okay, move the grave. Okay. Not quite what I was going for. Oh, okay, now I get it. So there's an event here which is supposed to just be the gravestone after it moves. But this event moves into place and then disappears. Okay. So the event was not actually in the correct location. Quill, why not casting silence on others so they suddenly know that something isn't right? I don't think I fully understand what you mean there. Alright, this should work. Okay. Okay. Why didn't that do what I wanted it to do? Okay, same as characters. That should do it. The silence spell disrupts the song of the false Hydra. I don't think that would quite work. It's not that the Hydra has some kind of active effect that's disrupting people's memory. It's that anyone the Hydra kills and devours instantly has their memory erased as like a single powerful magical effect. Okay, Gravestone Passage works. Tell me that was not awesome! Oh, yes. Yes, this is based on the homebrewed D&D False Hydras. But the notions have been adapted. The D&D False Hydra as it is, its amnesia power would not work the way that I had to interpret it here. in order to make the narrative work. Okay. So what we want to do is wait. How long is the sound effect? Just shy of 2 seconds. So we are going to add a... So according to your lore, the False Hydra is just built different? Yeah, pretty much. So we're going to do 2 sets of waiting. Okay. Is that long enough for all of the movement to finish? That is the question. Okay. Okay. So we need like 2 more of those. And then a final wait command. Let's see if that's enough. Do do do. Do 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 do. If we're going to be doing this though, then we really should just drop a manual save. So that's debug code 003. Okay. So debug code. Where's my debug item? There it is. 003. Alright. Yes. Yes, it worked. Okay. So this whole area should be navigable. It is navigable. That's good. Alright, now if I go out and in, it shouldn't do anything again. Right, because the event wasn't in the right place. Okay. That makes sense. So we wait. Let's just say like 90 frames on that one. And then finally we need to move the event bookshelf northwest back to bookshelf northwest. After the switch goes on. It's a lot of bug fixing here. Okay, good. Now... Good. It works! Yes! Yes! Alright, it finally works. Okay, so we now have our entrance into the Temple of Darkness. That is absolutely fantastic. Um, so now we can work once more on making it look good. Okay. So this is why not a cafeteria in the school area? That's a good idea as well. So this is like a little reading nook. So if this is going to be a little reading nook, we should have a couple stools lying around. Okay. Is there anything that would fit on top of those? Maybe like a closed book? Yeah, that works well enough, I suppose. Inkwell's just not going to be centered properly. That's fine, I guess. A little crystal ball. Alright, so we have one of the 8 annexes finished. What's this? Oh, that's like dirty water. Okay. Let's see here. Can you just not try to overwrite my doodads? Thank you. There we go. Alright. So there we go. That's an annex. 2 of the annexes will be just basic sleeping areas. We can go with something a little more basic for that. Just like some simple stone. Simple stone should be entirely sufficient for like basic living areas. And then we can just sort of keep the motif by having the whole left side of the temple just be like this kind of like stone, and then the rest of it actually being like proper tiling. Just like that, just like that. Okay. So for a sleeping area, we're just gonna go with some basic like cots here. Nothing really impressive, nothing really fancy. Let's find a treasure chest I can copy. Here. There we go. Basic chest. Here in the Temple of Darkness, they're all just going to have some nice, simple boxes. Nothing really important, nothing going to be in them, or at least nothing meaningful. Just a simple box and a simple box that is open, and it's just going to say the box was empty. Okay. And we will put one at the head of each bed. Okay. I think that works for just, a basic sleeping area that people would use. We'll put just like a pot here. Probably something that would be used as a chamber pot, which should be fine. And then here, we're going to have like a more robust bed. And next to the bed, we'll have like an empty box. And maybe some kind of drawer or dresser. No, I'm not really a big fan of that. Okay. We'll go with this. And that. Okay, I think that works decently. Yeah, I think that's okay. We can have a couple of coffins. That's a bit macabre. We'll have coffins down here. Without any other kind of ornamentation. No, I don't think that looks particularly good either. That looks better. And we will have the two coffins facing different ways. Nah, two is fine. Yeah, I think that works. Instead of that, we're going to have this area be carpeted. Okay. So, coffin 1, coffin 2. Yeah, I think that works. So we've got like a place where like temple ascetics might stay. We've got like a basic living area. We've got like a simple library. We have a central altar. We have a object of reverence there. What else? What else does a temple need? Like some storage. Certainly. Storage is important. And what is this even supposed to be? I've never really been clear on that. Some drawers. That's fine. A little bit of wine. So I'm imagining this as like a dining area. So it can look like that. Just a nice sort of basic type of thing. What else? What else? What else? Let's actually break up the symmetry a little bit. There we go. Just a slight break up to the symmetry. A few more green dots lying around. Just like that. And here in the corners. And here as well. Okay, I think that's effective. And make sure that we have some music again so that it's not just nothing but me rambling. And finally, we need the exit of the Temple of Darkness. There we go. Just like that. Okay. So we just need a few more decorations, but we don't really need too much. I'm thinking of just like putting some stuff on the walls at this point. Yeah, just like some repeating motifs, perhaps. Like that. Lily, this is the 5th time this week you've tried casting necromancy on the cooked fish. You need to stop. Yeah, that's just not a good thing to do, Lily. Okay. There we go. Decorated a bit. And yeah, maybe have like a magic circle here. And that's probably good. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at it from in-game. Okay, that was great. Okay. All right. Yeah, I like it. I like it. If anything, it might actually be a little too busy. Can that be like the administration area and start of the school's chat logs? This is not that. This is a temple. This is a place where priests live. Okay. And with that done, I'm only going to be streaming for about another 20 minutes, but I did want to get this next area started. Because this is going to be the big one. This is going to be the Graveyard Gardens. I don't suppose I have anything that's good for a graveyard. Ooh! Smoke. Yeah, smoke works. Smoke works. Okay. Honestly, I think that works. I think that works for this area. Okay, and we are running Scene 4 at 15% and 80 pitch. Okay. And again, this is going to be Dungeon. This is going to be the big map. This is going to be the central hub. Oh. Whoops. Where the hell is Act 2? Oh. 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 Whoops. 17 by 13. I didn't make a new map, I just renamed that one. Whoopsies. Alright, that's okay. That's okay. I can fix this. I can fix this. The world is not broken. Everything's fine. Stop panicking. Everything's fine. Okay. Graveyard Gardens. This is the Graveyard Gardens. And a fairly large map at 60 by 60. And then the Temple of Darkness is sub to the Graveyard Gardens, and the Gravestone Passage is sub to the Temple of Darkness. Okay. Oh boy. This is going to be a hell of a thing. So, first off, the Graveyard Gardens connects to several other locations. So the first thing we're going to need is a section that is not... Okay, stop it. So the first thing we need is a section that serves as the exterior of the temple. So that's just going to look like this and like that. Okay. That's probably fine. I need, like, a mossy path. Okay, there's definitely a mossy path. So we throw a bit of water here. The main goal is just to kind of obstruct the player's view a little bit until we get into the gardens proper. Just like that. Okay. But this area... Nope, that was not the one I was going for. Welcome back, Suleiman. Okay. We're just going to have a simple stone bridge that the player crosses. Like that. Okay, and this leads to the actual graveyard proper. So this is going to be a large area. Well, let's start with the graves, I guess. Okay. Put that there. Let's actually leave these areas relatively spaced. There we go. Whoops. 2, 3. Okay. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And so here is our initial section of the graveyard gardens. One, two, three. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. There we go. So we need one more layer around it, and then we're going to fence off this entire section. Actually, we need a second one down there. There we go. So obviously some of this fence work is going to go away as we start to work on this more. Next, we want an actual path leading through here. What works for an actual path? I guess just some basic dark cobblestone. Just like that. And then here we will have a section that goes up and a section that goes down. And then we will have some dark grass on the outskirts of the path, because people like to break the pathing. Just like that. And we'll have some darker green patches. Okay. Just like that. I wonder... Yeah, I think it looks better. I think it better having a bridge like this. Nah, color doesn't quite look great. There we go. That's better. Okay. Next, a few more dark patches. Okay. And it's all going to be, like, overgrown and stuff. I don't really have the kind of plant doodads I prefer to have for this sort of work. But I've got some. So we'll just scatter these doodads around. And a few of these green bits. So, one of the important things I always need to remember is that I am building underground. So, there are not going to be trees. Trees simply require too much. It is not hard to grow grass just about anywhere, assuming that you have soil, water, and some source of light. But bigger plants, trees, those definitely require more than we have here. So, lay some vines. A couple of bigger vines. A hairline crack in the wall. And then finally we need something to really mark this as the entrance to temple. So we're going to put down some pillars. There we go. Okay, so now we have a columned path that leads to the actual entrance of the Temple of Darkness. Okay, I think... I think that works. And then this leads out to the Graveyard Gardens. Okay. And this leads back into the Temple of Darkness, facing left. Okay. And finally, moving around very, very slowly, we're going to have a few zombies. Okay. That should work. This one also just moves around. We're going to have one here that all it does is face this direction. We're not going to have, like, a ton of zombies running around. But we will have, like, a couple. Okay. And finally, the last thing we are going to do is put a save point in the Temple of Darkness. And we're gonna put it over here. Good. Alright, a proper save. Okay, we're gonna have to stop that from hurting you while you walk over it. So here are the Graveyard Gardens, or at least the first part of the Graveyard Gardens. Okay, I think that looks pretty damn good. The only issue here with the temple... is that it doesn't really look like it leaves anywhere. So we want to fix that. We want to make sure that you can walk over these because they are almost impossible to see. And I don't want... Uh, no, we don't want that to damage you while you walk on it. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good for today. I do have other things I'm going to have to be doing. Um, yeah, I think we're good. We got a good start on the Graveyard Gardens and the Necropolis Hub. So that has been a success. We've got a few ideas for other things to include as we keep building it. Um, I will be streaming again this evening. I will be playing Fantasy Life I again because I love that game, and now that I've committed to streaming it, the only way I get to enjoy it as much as I want is by streaming, which means that I have trapped myself. Um, yeah, I think that's all the announcements I have for today. So thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll be back here again next week, and I will have the bestiary all caught up. I might also do my next stream of building a bad gotcha game in RPG Maker sometime this next week, or at least just a video on it, probably just a video, since I've actually been working on that in the background and made quite a bit of progress with it. And yeah, I think that's everything. So, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all on the next one, and it is time to make the sound to summon the end of the stream. Wow, 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 wow.